Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon and today I'm going to show you how to make easy creamy corn chowder. We're going to need some flour, a large potato, some onion, chicken stock. We're going to use some whole kernel corn, some thick bacon, some cream corn in the can, some butter, half and half, some salt and pepper to taste. And we're also going to use some fresh parsley and celery. Let's get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go on and chop up our parsley. I'm using flat leaf Italian parsley, and we're going to be using 2 tablespoons in this recipe. Okay, so once I have my parsley all chopped up and set to the side, next we're going to go on and we're going to work on our onion. We'll be using a half an onion, which should give you roughly about a half a cup of chopped onion. And my onion, I've chopped and diced it up about the size of a dime, but you don't want to go any bigger than the size of a nickel, okay? And so once we have that all nice and chopped up, and we'll set that to the side. Oh, also guys, if you're new here to my channel and you haven't subscribed, go on and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you're seeing so far with the content, go on and give us a thumbs up. So next we're going to go on and work on our potato. I'm using a large russet potato, which is about the size of like a baking potato if you're going to make a big baked potato. But if you don't have that size, you can use 2 small potatoes, will work nicely as well. We're dicing those up, and you see that the potato, it's about the size of a nickel. Okay, you don't want them too big and you don't want them too small, because if they're too small, once you start cooking your chowder, they'll kind of just break down and disintegrate in your chowder, and you don't want that. Okay, now once I finish cutting up my potato, I'm going to go on and clean off my countertop, and we'll start working on our bacon. Now I'm using 1 piece of thick cut bacon, and if you don't have thick cut bacon, you can use 2 regular strips of bacon, or you can also use low sodium bacon. It's your choice. Now once we have our bacon all nice and diced up, we are going to start building the base for our chowder. So in my pot, I have my fire on medium. I'm going to go on and add my bacon in there, and I'm going to let the bacon render down about maybe 70%. I want it to kind of render down. And you see it's nice, it's in there, it's sizzling. A lot of that nice bacon flavor is being released into our pot. I'm moving the bacon around. And so once our bacon starts to release all its nice essence, I'm going to go in and add in our chopped onion. And again, that's half a cup of chopped onion. I'm going to mix that really good into our pot. Make sure it's getting coated with all that nice bacon flavor, just like that. Now, once I have that, and I want to kind of create an even layer, because our bacon will continue to cook as we're sauteing our onions. And so I just want to kind of saute that really good. We're going to start to build some fond in the bottom of our pot, and that is exactly what we're looking for. Now, once our onions have began to soften up and we've got that fond that continues to build in the bottom of our pot, we're going to go on and add in now our celery. And we'll be using a half a cup of chopped celery. Now we're going to saute our celery until it starts to also get a nice soft consistency. Now this is important. The reason why we saute our celery versus just adding it into the pot once we have our liquid in there is because the flavor of the celery is going to be so much more pronounced and so much more richer when you're sauteing it. I've gone on and added in 1 tablespoon of butter. Now that butter is going to help us to finish sauteing our veggies in our pot. It's going to also add some richness to our chowder, as well as it's going to help us to start to lift some of that fond from the bottom of our pot. Now, our chowder recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. And right now, you may be tempted to add that tablespoon of flour in right now, but don't do it. And the reason being is our flour added in right now, and then we add in our stock, our base will be too thick and it won't allow our potatoes to boil and soften up. And next we're going to go on and add in our 1 1/4 cup of chicken stock. And if you don't have chicken stock, you can use chicken broth. I'm adding in the 14-ounce can of sweet creamed corn. I'm going to go on and give it a stir. And after that, we're going to go on and add in our frozen corn. And this is whole kernel frozen corn, and that is 1 1/2 cups of corn. And we're going to go on and give that a stir. And next we're going to add in our diced potato, and I'm using the 1 large baking potato, so I'm using russet potato today. However, in this recipe, you can use a russet potato. Yukon Gold works very well, or even the small white potatoes. You can dice those up and use those as well. We'll give it a nice stir, and then I like to poke down the potatoes to make sure that it's covered in that liquid. We're adding in our salt and our pepper, and my salt, I put in 1/4 a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 a teaspoon of pepper. I'm giving that a stir, and I like to stir after adding any new ingredient to my pot. So I want to make sure everything just gets mixed in very thoroughly. So once I've done that, I've poked it down. Our pot will start to boil. We're going to put the top on our pot and let our pot boil for a good 15 minutes. That will give our potatoes time to start to soften. And our potatoes look nice and soft. I'm checking for their tenderness and them being done. And a quick tip, how you can tell that your potatoes are nice and tender in your pot is that the sides of your potatoes, those edges, will start to round just a bit, and that's when you know your potatoes are tender. Now to my pot, I'm adding the 1/2 and 1/2. This is 1 cup of 1/2 and 1/2, but in my 1/2 and 1/2, I added that tablespoon of all-purpose flour. I mixed the tablespoon of all-purpose flour in there with the 1/2 and 1/2. Then I poured it into the pot. I'm giving it a nice stir, and what we're going to do is we're going to let this cook for an additional 5 minutes with the top on, and that will cook out that flour taste, and it will also thicken up our chowder. So let's go on and put the top on and give it that 5 minutes. All right, guys, it's been 5 minutes. Look at that. Our chowder is nice and it's boiling. We're going to go on and add in now our 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley. We're going to give our pot a nice stir. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put the top back on our pot. We're going to go on and turn our fire off, and our chowder is done. We're just going to let it sit for 5 minutes. So that way our broth just does that last final thickening. And look, this is what we have. Our wonderful, easy, creamy corn chowder. Doesn't that look good? Let's serve us up some. And here we have it, guys, our bowl of chowder. But you know what? I think we needed a little parsley. So I went on and I garnished our chowder with some parsley. And you can also garnish your chowder if you want to. You could put a little bit of grated cheese on top. That is nice. You can also put some chopped green onions. Oh my goodness, it just sends it to the next level, let me tell you. But look at this. Look at our chowder. Do you see what we just made in this kitchen? Beautiful chowder, creamy broth, nice, good flavor. That bacon in there, and if you want to add like an extra piece of bacon, hey, go right ahead. This chowder is so delicious. It is just so easy to make, universal. You can make it your own by adding that extra bacon if you like. You can make it your own, and you say, hey, I don't even want to put the 1/2 and 1/2. I just want it more of a soup than a total chowder with cream. Go right ahead. It is delicious either way. And guys, I hope that you give this recipe a try. In the description box, I'm going to have the list of all the ingredients that we used today. And let me tell you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Go on and hit that subscribe button because I'm going to show you how to cook from scratch, bake from scratch. We will be doing some semi-homemade dishes, and it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.